What is up? What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, Tennessee continues to have a problem. They thought they fixed it, and nah, it's really bad. It's really bad. We're watching the legacy of Tennessee be destroyed in real time. We're going to talk about that and the legacy of Pat Summitt. We're also going to talk about some of the games that happened yesterday where UCLA, barely took down Michigan. We saw TCU get got. We saw Alabama get got to Texas A&M, and I was just like, whoa, that's crazy, and a whole lot more. Anyway, Quit in the Morning starts right now.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Ready, set, go.
All right, ladies and gents, let's talk about this. And I titled this section "A Legacy in Ruin" because that's kind of how I feel about Tennessee. That is kind of how I feel about Tennessee. And it's sad. It really is sad. Let's talk about it, okay? If you all don't know who this person on the screen is right now, well, let me tell you. This is the greatest coach to ever do it, in my opinion. Her name is Pat Summitt. She was the longtime head coach for Tennessee. And for nearly 40 years, she led the charge at Tennessee. And the Lady Vols were not just good under Pat Summitt. Tennessee, under Pat Summitt's leadership, was the standard in a lot of ways. And it seems like since, she retired and then passed away after that, this team has never seen the type of success that she had. If you don't know, Pat Summitt took over at Tennessee in 1974. And she was only 22 years old. She was young. Very, very young. But she took over and created a identity. 1,098 wins. 8 national championships. 32 SEC titles. And if you really think about it, the numbers really don't tell the full story of what Pat Summitt did at Tennessee, because she just elevated that program to sites that they had never seen before and sites that they haven't seen afterwards. But in 2011, Pat Summitt, really did face her toughest challenge ever. And that was her health. After, being this fantastic, first of all, player before she turned coach. But as a coach, she did all the big things there was to do. National championships, SEC titles. She helped players get number 1 in the WNBA draft. She was fantastic. She was epic. Right? In 1998, she had a perfect 39-0 season. She was great. But none of us can control some things that just happen in our health. And for Pat Summitt, Alzheimer's was one of those things that just, have to stop. And ultimately in 2011, she announces that she has a disease that millions and millions of people have been diagnosed with. A disease that is, it's just a thing that happens and you don't have a response to it because there's nothing you can really do about it. And it was that was the end of the road of Pat Summitt being the head coach of Tennessee. In 2011, when she made that announcement, she ended up coaching that season. Her team won the SEC tournament. They, I believe, got to the Elite Eight that season. And then Pat Summitt gave the reins over. And since then, Tennessee has hired various coaches to try to hit the mark that Pat Summitt hit. And they still ultimately didn't do it. Unfortunately for us, Pat Summitt did pass away in 2016, a couple of years after she stepped down as the head coach of Tennessee. But for Tennessee, they struggled to find someone who could not just coach the team, but can lead the team to the success that Pat Summitt did. Again, tons of NCAA championships, SEC titles, top players, all that good stuff. After, she gave the reins over, ultimately, we did see Holly Warlick, her longtime assistant coach, become the head coach of the team. She coached for 7 years as the head coach of Tennessee. And, Holly didn't, if you look at the people after Holly didn't do that bad. Okay? Not at all. Not at all. She had a record of 172 wins, 67 losses. She made it to 3 Elite Eight games. This is someone who, again, she was a huge assistant coach for Pat Summitt for a long time, so she knew how to coach. And, she helped Tennessee to get 3 SEC titles and found some success. But she could never really get to the championship game, right? She couldn't get to a Final Four, couldn't get to a championship game. Tennessee made a change. They ended up hiring in another coach, in Kelly Harper. Kelly Harper spent 5 seasons as the head coach for the Lady Vols. She had a record of 108 wins, 52 losses. And Princess just threw up. Oh my goodness. And this is someone who also was okay, but Tennessee was looking for championships, and Kelly was not able to provide that for them, ultimately. And so they move on, and they hire Kim Caldwell, who is now in her 2nd year as the head coach of Tennessee. And the idea here was, okay, she is going to usher in a new identity for this team. She's going to get us to be faster. She is going to, she's had success previously. She's going to make her mark in the NCAA. And we're going to give a D3 coach the reins at Tennessee, because we need a new identity. We need to chase the legacy and greatness of Pat Summitt. So Kim Caldwell comes in. Last year, that's fine, I guess. You can point to a lot of things that weren't great about the Lady Vols last season. However, I kind of thought about it like, okay, this team, they have too many substitutions. They go too fast. They jack up too many shots. However, maybe she's going to get it all together. And then things like yesterday happened, and it makes me seriously doubt what's going on. So with that being said, let's get into yesterday's game. Because it was embarrassing. And the reason why I wanted to start off the stream talking about Pat Summitt, because Pat Summitt is a huge reason why I'm even this crazy about basketball as I am. Growing up, I watched Pat Summitt coach, and it was something about her like super classiness, but like intensity that I loved. And I wanted to, play basketball because watching, Tennessee play. I watched a lot of Tennessee basketball, and over the years, even though I don't actually cheer for any team now, there's still like a lot of nostalgia in my head around Tennessee because I grew up watching them. They were my favorite team. And when I look at currently what's going on with Tennessee, I am just, it's sad, it's annoying, it's disappointing, and honestly, I don't know what there is to do for this team. I think at some point they just have to wave the white flag and say, okay, we're going to start again. The AD and whatnot, they're just going to have to start again because this is ridiculous. Yesterday, South Carolina played Tennessee, and I knew South Carolina was going to beat Tennessee. Like, that wasn't a question. It was the way they beat them. 93-50. Again, 93-50. A epic 43-point loss. This was the biggest loss in Lady Vols history. They've never lost a game this bad. And it just looked atrocious. Like if you watch the game, there was a moment where number one, the zone that South Carolina was running, there was nothing that Tennessee could do about it. And the thing they tried to do about it was shoot threes. And at one point they missed like 8 straight threes. They were absolutely trash. As usual, they have the rotating lineup of players. And no one could do anything. I'm talking 44 threes attempted yesterday for Tennessee. They only made 10. It was pathetic watching them play. It was pathetic. It was sad. And yes, South Carolina played well. Yes, Joyce Edwards did her thing. Tanaya Latson did her thing. Like, yes. Medina was crashing them boards like crazy. Had a double-double. Good. Really, really good play for South Carolina. But I'm not talking about South Carolina. I'm talking about the lack of just thought for Tennessee in basically the entire game. It's like they were just running. They were just running. Okay, let's just shoot. Let's just let's just shoot. Okay, rotate. Okay, let's rotate another 5. It was just like, it was ridiculous how bad they were. And yes, shout out to South Carolina. They played really, really well. However, y'all can't play against a 2-3. Y'all can't do anything but just take bad 3-point shots all day. And after you see that you keep missing, you still keep shooting it. I get it. Sometimes if you're a shooter, sometimes you have an off night and yeah, you just keep shooting. But Tennessee ain't shooters like that. Come on now. And then the thing that frustrated me most was the post game. Now, I didn't get a chance to pull clips, but I want to talk about it. In the post game, Kim Caldwell basically, in my opinion, did her best blaming the players' impression. She said, quote, "I have a team that will quit. And you can't do that in big games or any time in the SEC. But you certainly can't do that against this program." It felt like and that's just one quote of like all the things she said. After listening to it, I was just like, girl, you know you're the head coach, right? Here's the thing. If you see a team consistently make certain consistently play a certain way on the court and consistently have similar issues, and you don't do anything, it's your fault. Here's the thing. Yes, your team played against the best team in the SEC. But at the same time, if they don't show up prepared, if they don't act like they have any fight in them, if they're going to quit on you, and for you to identify that, yes, this team quits, that's what they do. Well, didn't you recruit a lot of those players? Didn't you recruit some of the players who are quote unquote quitting? At some point, you got to look in the mirror. And I think that's the huge issue. You recruited a lot of these players. A lot of them. You recruited them. They're running your system. And if they're quitting, it's because speculation. It's because they probably feel like you quit on them first. And so that's my thoughts about Tennessee. I think it is a crying shame that a team with such legacy, such dominance, such just awesomeness has ended up the way that they have. And it comes down to the fact that they should have hired Kara Lawson before she went to Duke. In my opinion, Kara Lawson, who is from Tennessee, right, had an epic career at Tennessee. She's now coaching at Duke. And I think it would have been pretty nice to have her coach at Tennessee. Here's the thing. Kim Caldwell still has the rest of the year. And yes, in the SEC, Tennessee hasn't been that bad, right? Right? They're third in the SEC. That's because they haven't played the toughest of the SEC yet, right? They still haven't played Texas. They haven't played Ole Miss. They haven't played Oklahoma. They haven't played LSU. They haven't played Vandy. So yes, right now they're in third place. But I don't think Tennessee is going to win any of their remaining games with the exception of Missouri. They'll probably beat Missouri, and that's it. They're gonna finish off the season losing to Texas, losing to Ole Miss, losing to Oklahoma, losing to LSU, losing to Vandy. Heck, they may just lose against Texas A&M because Texas A&M just took down Alabama. So they'll have, for the most part, probably a guaranteed 5 losses, maybe 6, to close out the season. And that third place in the SEC is going to fall really quickly. Tennessee has raw talent. They do. They have a lot of raw talent. But it's not all clicking. It's not all clicking. And for you to, basically, she seemed very upset in that whole press conference, and warrantedly so. The worst loss in team history, all that stuff. But it seemed like a lot of that anger and annoyance was put out on the players when at the end of the day, your team loses by 43 points. At some point, you got to look in the mirror. And you got to say, okay, my system clearly is not working against the better teams in the conference. And so therefore, I have to do something different. And so, yeah. El Kune says Tennessee has no discipline and no pride. Yeah, especially in the second half. In that second half, they were just out there. They were just out there in that second half. It didn't even feel like they weren't trying. Well, they were trying, but they weren't. It felt like they didn't have no heart. There was no heart. Especially in that second half. In the first half, you could excuse it and be like, okay, that's not that bad. Okay. but the second half was just like, what happened in the locker room? Because y'all were already not very good, and you got a whole lot worse. Okay? Yeah, she was pissed. She was pissed. Yeah, it was all they and no we from Kim. Yeah. And you can't do that. Henry says, who's the best in the SEC right now? South Carolina. Yeah, South Carolina. So, yeah, it's just sad. Again, it's just sad as a long time person, women's basketball fan who grew up on Tennessee. It is sad to see them go out like this. It really is, and I hope that at some point they end up turning it all the way around, and they get back to greatness. They get back to a Final Four, where I don't think they have been since Pat Summitt. And so at some point, you maybe have to say, maybe these hockey subs aren't working. Maybe they're just not working. You know, maybe there's additional things that you got to do to get recruits, because top players in the country, they're probably not coming to you knowing they're going to get hockey subbed out every 5 minutes, or not even. And so maybe you got to really look at what you're doing and say, you know what? We got to fix this. We got to change it. Got to make it better, because this is pathetic. Hockey subs is like full changeover. It's like when everybody comes out, everybody who's on the court right now comes out, and then a batch of new players come in. It's not like a one sub at a time thing. It's like you're subbing out the whole, like all 5 at a time. I mean, yes, that's incoming freshman recruits, which to me, when I'm sort of, and I should have clarified. Thank you for allowing me to clarify. I'm talking about transfers. I'm not talking about incoming freshmen. Because it seems like that's where the women's game is. That's what's determining overall success, is the transfers you're able to get in. Because sometimes the top-notch recruits, they may or may not live up to the hype, but it's the transfers that really make a difference. And so that's what I'm specifically talking about when I'm talking about recruiting. I'm talking specifically about transfers, not incoming freshmen. Though, yeah, they do have a top-notch incoming freshman coming in. Oh, right. I just had to talk about that. I was just, yeah. Sorry for spending so long talking about that. Anyway, let's talk about UCLA versus Michigan. And here's the thing I just like about college basketball. Yes, you may have an overall dominant team, but anybody can get got, right? I'm literally wearing the shirt. Respect the motto. Anybody can and will get got. And yesterday, I thought that was going to be UCLA. I thought UCLA was about to get got from against Michigan, because Michigan pulled off a fantastic fourth quarter comeback. But at the end of the day, when it mattered the most, the UCLA Bruins got the job done, and they continue to show us why, even though they get tested, they are still, by and large, the best team in the Big Ten. They just are. And I mean, it sort of is what it is, right? Even with Michigan having that epic comeback, especially in the last couple minutes of the game, we end up seeing, Kiki Rice, knock down some pretty big free throws, kind of ice the game out and win it from there. Here's the thing. Yesterday, Lauren Betts is Lauren Betts. She wasn't super efficient, but she just continues to show us that defensively, and offensively and on the rebounding front, she can just get it. Even if she's not super efficient, wasn't really at all yesterday. Only 16 points. Could have been way more efficient and could have easily, in my opinion, had like 26 points. But she crashed the boards and was getting after it. 16 rebounds for her. She was a big-time player, especially in the paint on defense when Michigan, hey, you can't really get to the rim like that if you got a big player like Lauren Betts waiting to block your shot. And she did block a couple shots. She had 3 blocks in yesterday's game. She's just a really good all-around player. And talking about all-around players, Kiki Rice just continues to have herself a season. I'm not sure whether or not Kiki, has been specifically thinking about the WNBA draft and thinking about ways that she can improve her game to be seen more by scouts. But this year is the best year I've ever seen of Kiki Rice. Like I think she looks like a point guard who wants the ball, someone who knows what to do when they get the ball, and is just a all-around really good player. She's improved on just about every single stat from last year to this year. Points per game, rebounds per game. Her assists are relatively in the same spot as last year, but she's committing way less turnovers game on game. Her shooting percentage has gotten significantly better. Her three-point percentage has gotten significantly better. My point is, Kiki Rice is showing herself to be a really, really good asset to UCLA. It's not just Lauren Betts, right? And yes, you end up getting Gianna Neepkins in this year, and Gianna is doing her thing. But I think, Kiki Rice just has stepped up quite a bit. And I don't think people are really talking about Kiki like that because, again, it's always about Lauren Betts, and it should be because she's the team. She's the most important player on the team. But I really appreciate how Kiki Rice is playing this year. Yesterday, 20 points for her. Absolutely does her thing. Not great on the turnover front compared to most games, but overall, Kiki Rice just continues to play well. She continues to play well. Though, I will say, the game shouldn't have been as close as it was. Because, here's the thing, Michigan, they didn't even all play well. Here's the thing. This team, when you talk about Michigan, it's all about Olivia Olsen. It's all about Silas Swords. You got Mila Holloway who can mix stuff up and do some stuff. But in yesterday's game, Sila didn't really do much. Sila was actually pretty inefficient. She wasn't very good in this game, and Michigan still almost took down UCLA. And so my point is, yes, UCLA proved that they can end up closing out a close game. My other point is, it shouldn't have been that close because it wasn't even like the dynamic duo did a ton. You allowed, Olivia Olsen to do her thing, but Mila Holloway was going off. You saw Adele Foss going off, and it became a game in that fourth quarter. So it shouldn't have been as close. Michigan is a really good team. They're more than just Olivia and Sila. And it shows a lot that Silas Swords can have 8 points in a game and still you barely win. Just saying that should be a positive for Michigan going forward. They really should tuck that in their cap and really remember that game. Because it could have been a get-got moment. It almost was. Next up, really quickly, let's talk about some of the other games that happened yesterday. Really quickly. So the reason why I have TCU on here, because they got yesterday. Because anybody and everybody can and will get got. I've told y'all that before. This is the motto. You should respect it. And yesterday, TCU was that. Colorado came in and they were like, you know what? TCU, we know you're ranked. We know you're a really good squad, but we're about to come after you. We're about to get this dub. And they did get the dub narrowly. End up getting the dub 80-79. Yesterday, we also saw Duke, speaking of Kara Lawson, Duke dominated against SMU. Not a surprise at all because SMU is really bad. Really bad. 95 for Duke, 36 for SMU. We saw Washington take down Wisconsin, though the Badgers did give them a little bit of the business. 91 in Washington, Wisconsin 86. We saw North Carolina easily take down Wake Forest 84-59. But the upset of the day, the game of the day, the surprise of the day was Texas A&M taking down Alabama. And I got to tell you guys, I was like, what? Because to be honest with you, I didn't watch this game because I was expecting it to be an easy win for Alabama. And after the game, I saw the box score and I was like, what the heck? Texas A&M. Basically one of the worst teams in the SEC. You take down a ranked opponent in Alabama. And again, it just shows you that in the SEC, even the worst teams in the conference, even the worst teams can get you. Okay? Tisha, that is a fantastic idea. Quita, I would love to see your top 10 Get Got moments. That would actually be amazing. Yeah, maybe that's what I should really think about that. I like that idea a lot. I like that idea a whole lot. I'm just saying. So, Alabama, Christy Curry. I don't know what happened. I didn't get a chance to watch the game. I did know that Essence Cody did get fouled out, and she is a huge player for Alabama, and so maybe that had a lot to do with it. Either way, what the heck? And congratulations to Texas A&M because again, anybody and everybody can and will get got in the SEC. Doesn't matter if you are basically the worst team in the league. A team that just went on a crazy losing streak. Even you, yes you, Texas A&M, can take down Alabama. Shout out to y'all for doing your thing. And clearly I got to go back on that one because I didn't expect it. Like sometimes I'm like, there's only so amount of time, like such amount of time that you have. And so like you can't really watch everything. You can't engage with everything. But I actually wish I actually watched that one because what? I didn't expect it. And so that's why I didn't watch it. And I regret it. I regret not watching it because clearly that one was a game. And again, shout out to Texas A&M. We saw LSU take down Auburn 77-44. We saw Louisville take down Syracuse 84-65. And we saw Ohio State take down Oregon. All right, so those were your games for Sunday. And yeah, that is crazy. It is crazy. Chicago Cheetah says SEC is not a joke. Absolutely. Not a joke at all. LL Kune says Texas A&M has more pride than Tennessee. Hey, Tennessee got to get it together. They got to get it together, okay? Oh man. Shamika says everyone has more pride than Tennessee. Oh no. My hope is that something changes with Tennessee. That instead of them going on this epic losing streak that we expect them to go on, that they surprise us and they turn over a new leaf and they are just flat out fantastic. That's the hope. Do I think it's likely going to happen? Probably not. But you gotta play with the Lady Vol pride. Like, hey, Candace Parker, like, can you? I wonder. Does she? I know she doesn't really want to coach, but if she did, I'm just saying, one of the Tennessee alums, somebody do something. Somebody do something. Okay. Oh, So Unknown watched the game and said that Texas A&M and Alabama game was actually good. Yeah, I really gotta go back and watch it. Officially, Brando says, do you think Kim gets fired? Not after this year. Like, here's the thing. Y'all know this because I talked about it in, like, when other coaches have gotten fired. I'm of the mind that coaches should really get 4 years before firing them. To get their system in place and all this other stuff. I am of the mind that they probably won't fire her. I think they'll probably give her next year, and see what she does. And if she's able to, maybe this is just a blip in her coaching career at Tennessee. Maybe she's gonna make some adjustments, some huge adjustments, and make some stuff happen. Maybe. But I don't think they'll fire her after this year. Like, I think just 2 years. I don't think they will. I mean, we'll see. They can do whatever they want, but like, I don't anticipate her being out of there. I do think she's probably gonna have to, after the season's over, she's probably gonna have to go to the AD and be like, okay, here is my performance. What do they call it? When you get a performance improvement plan. There we go. This is my PIP. This is my performance improvement plan. Yes. These are the things that I am implementing, that I will be doing differently and all that stuff. I think she's probably going to have to do something like that at the end of the season, but I don't think she'll get fired. I don't think so. Nor am I advocating for her to get fired. I'm just saying Tennessee just as a whole has to be better than this because of the legacy they come from. I mean, we'll see what happens. I could be wrong. But yeah, I'm of the mind that like coaches really do need 3 seasons. And last year, like, it wasn't like Tennessee was bad. Like, 24 of 10 in the conference. They were, 50-50, half and half. So, they did. Remember, guys, in the NCAA tournament last year, they did get a really great win over Ohio State in the tournament, right? And it wasn't like they lost to Texas by that much. Right, they faced Texas in the Sweet 16 last year, and Tennessee held their own. They lost, but like they held their own against Texas, and it was a good game. And so, no, I don't think they'll fire her, but I do think there are some massive changes she needs to make, and she can't, as a coach, play the blame game. She cannot play the blame game consistently. Right? Yeah, Tony Bees is. I tell you, she's going to be a really, really good coach. A really good player in, like, give her 3 more years at Tennessee. See, at South Carolina. Alicia Tony Bees is the new player that came midseason from overseas for South Carolina. She's only played in a couple of games so far, but she is definitely getting more comfortable. And I'm just thinking about like 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, like Tornabees is gonna be really, really good, really, really good. Yeah, Notre Dame lost again. They're just bad. They're just bad. Officially, Brando says, because that AD expects everyone to be Pat Summitt. I mean, yeah, there was only one Pat Summitt because Pat Summitt is fantastic. But you want to look better on the court. You really do. You really, really do. And so, yeah, we'll see. Oh, that's my signal. I gotta go. Bye-bye. See y'all tomorrow. Bye.
Are you ready?
Ready, set, go.